Alright, so here's part 2 of my haul this week. I decided to break up this video because I have 127 books to show, so that way you guys don't have to stay in one video all day. So for those of you who came back, thank you. Um, so anyway, here's the tote that cost me 20 bucks. Basically, if you guys don't have a half-price books outlet store near you, you might want to find where one's at, because occasionally they'll have sales where you can buy this bag for 20 bucks, and as long as the items in the store can fit in it, it's yours. So luckily comic books are this size, so I can get 127 to 140 per bag. So that equates to about 15 to 16 cents per comic. So who could turn that down as a collector? Unfortunately, I'm probably going to end up having to sell a lot of these because, well, those boxes behind me, they're not empty. So I just don't have enough room to put all these and sort these, but I'll definitely be keeping, I think, what is the cream of the crop. So without further ado, because I got a lot of books to show, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So I found a nice little Firestorm haul from the 80s. So here's issue 8. I'm sorry, bear with me here because I'm literally surrounded by books. So I'm trying to figure out where to set all this stuff. This is issue 9, issue 10. And these aren't usually ones I roll across in dollar bins and that stuff, so I was kind of excited to see Firestorm was still there for, well, 15 cents a piece, so who could beat that? So here's issue 19, and a lot of these are from that Jerry Conway, Pat Broderick run, so I'll probably be keeping a few of these for myself, but yeah, I'm probably going to have to end up getting rid of a lot of them just because, like I said, I do not have a lot of space for all this stuff. Here's issue 30, issue 33. And unfortunately, they didn't have a solid run, so a lot of these had to be broken up. So issue 36, 39, and unfortunately, it's got a gnarly stain right there on the cover. But hey, 15 cents is 15 cents. Here's a pre-crisis issue 42, so I'll probably be flipping through that because I love my crisis era DC Comics. Here's issue 50, then issue 51, 67, then here's annual number 1, and then annual number 4. So like I said, I got a nice big Firestorm lot out of there. Next up, I found 3 copies of Mr. Miracle from '89, so here is issue 2. And unfortunately, they did not have an issue 1. I don't know if someone got there before me and grabbed it, but they did have issues 2 through, and there's number 3. Then the last one I found was number 4, so I know Mr. Miracle's been a hot book from Tom King now, so I figured, why not check out some old ones because I can't find the new ones. Next up, and like I said, these aren't in any particular order because I was just kind of cramming the bag full and trying to get as many books as fast as I could before someone else came and started flipping through the bins. So you guys know how all that goes. So I found a couple Lady Mechanicas from Joe Benitez. So here's issue 0, and I heard this is a pretty good pickup, so I haven't had a chance to really read these yet. And I've never seen these before. I've seen the individual issues in shops and stuff, but apparently there are collected editions that have 2 issues in one comic, basically. So this has 0 and 1 in it. Like I said, I've never really seen these before, so I just got them out of blind curiosity, basically. And then here's issues 2 and 3 together into one. So I'll look forward to flipping through those. And then who could turn down 15-cent Mike Turner comics? So here's issue 4 of Fathom. And then I'll definitely be keeping these because I'm a huge Mike Turner fan. And then here is issue 5. So wish I had more from that run, but unfortunately they just had the 2, so I settled for the 2. Next up here is Loki, Agent of Asgard, 3rd printing of issue 2. I just like the covers. The only reason I really picked that up. I don't really know too much about this series, but there it is. And then I found a little bit of a 80s Legion of the Superheroes run, so I decided to pick those up. So here's issue 261, 267, 270, 296, $2.99. Like I said, they're not in the best order. $2.76. And then 303. Nice Supergirl cover there. And then I also just rolled across a Jim Lee variant of Legions of the Superheroes issue 3 from 2010. Like I said, I've never really read the 2010 series, so I don't know too much about it, but couldn't turn out a Jim Lee cover. Sorry, I'm having to put books everywhere here. Next up, I found some Guardians of the Galaxy. This one is actually a Jim Valentino Jim Lee cover of issue 10, so I didn't even know they worked on that. So thought that was pretty neat. And then issue 11. So look forward to flipping through those. And here's another series I've never heard of. Batman Gordon of Gotham. I'm guessing this ran along with all the other Gotham comics they were producing at the time. So this is issue 1 of, I think it says 4. So like I said, once again, I didn't even know it existed. So here it is now. Now I found a couple Captain Marvel #1s. So there's Captain Marvel #1. I think Peter David did some work on this book. And then the Brian Reed Captain Marvel 1 of 5. And then also I found some G.I. Joe I couldn't pass up on some nice 80s G.I. Joe. I'm slowly trying to collect as many of them as I can. So here's issue 22. Nice Destro cover there. I may already have this one. I'm not sure. Like I said, I need to do a better job of keeping track of all the G.I. Joes I have so I don't pick up doubles like I have in the past. And then there's issue 23, 35, and 36. So I pretty much cleaned them out of G.I. Joe. And then there was only, I think, one other person really when they opened looking at comics, and unfortunately he cleaned out all of the Batman and all the Spider-Man without even looking at what they were. So unfortunately I didn't get any Batmans or Spider-Mans, but luckily he did leave X-Men and Justice League alone, which they had tons of. So I decided to pick up some of the Mark Waid Justice League of America run. So there's issue 48 of that awesome run that Grant Morrison started in the 90s. I found an issue 50 as well, so I'll probably be hanging on to this. 51, number 52, 53, 54, 55, 57. Sorry if I'm going through these pretty fast, but I still got a lot of ground to cover. So number 58, number 60, and number 61 was the last one I decided to pick up. Like I said, they had a bunch more, but I decided just to kind of stick to the Mark Waid era ones just because I know I'll for sure like those. And like I said, X-Men and that whole Wolverine section was pretty big. It was relatively untouched, so that's probably where the majority of my stack came from. So the first one I picked up out of there was an X-Men 200, an Humberto Ramos cover. I don't think I have this exact cover. I know they did a decent amount of variants for issue 200. I think I have the David Finch variant. So I decided to pick up the Humberto Ramos as well because, hey, 15 cents, why not? Then I got some early Wolverines from the first ongoing series. So here's number 15 with vampires, apparently. I don't remember Wolverine fighting vampires, but there you go. And then number 21. And like I said, I still need to put these in order. Here's number 9. Back up to 23. So happy to get those harder to find early Wolverines. I don't even know what number. Oh, X-Men 14 from I think the second or third run. I just thought it was a funny cover. Just Emma Frost in a straitjacket with a dumb look on her face. So I thought it was pretty funny. So it just ended up in the bag. And then there was a bunch of Uncannies around the 300 mark that I picked up. They're not the greatest condition, but hey, once again, 15 cents. Why not? So here's Uncanny 288 with Bishop on the cover. 291, nice Storm cover there. And then 292, another Bishop, Colossus, and Jean Grey on that cover. 303, 301, and I think there was a 300 in there, but I went ahead and just decided to leave it for somebody else because I have like 2 or 3 copies of that at this point, because they were like in the 90s, they were basically just giving away that book for free with any online purchase way back when. So I decided just to leave that in there. Like I said, this is kind of a beater, but here's 264. A lot of spine chunking there, but hey, once again, 15 cents. 263. Number 262. A rare forge cover, so couldn't pass that up. And then a John Romita Jr. 302 with Colossus on the cover, so I can never pass up some 90s X-Men. And I decided to pick this up. I probably have 2 or 3 copies of it already. New X-Men 114. That's the beginning of the Grant Morrison run of New X-Men. It's one of my all-time favorite X-Men runs, so figured why not pick up another copy of this. If you guys haven't checked that out, absolutely seek this out. It is one of the runs that got me back into comics in the early 2000s. So if you guys have not read the Grant Morrison run, this is where it starts. I highly recommend checking this out. All right, so I got some Mark Silvestri Uncanny, issue 229. And I've never seen this book before. I don't know. I haven't even flipped through it yet. That's just because I got these yesterday and I had to go right to work afterward. It's the X-Men Ultra Collection, book 1 of 5. I don't know if this just collects the all those trading cards that were done in the 90s. I just thought it was a really cool, Bishop and Jean Grey cover. So I'll be flipping through this, see what that's like. But I've just never seen this book before. Thought it was pretty neat. Mystic Arcana Magic number 1. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with this series. I thought it was a pretty neat cover, and they only had just issue 1, so figured why not put it in the bag. It'll fit. Here's Sabretooth number 1 from the Mark Texeira run. Really good art in here. I've never owned a copy of this, so I figured why not. And I was extremely surprised these next 3 books stayed in there for as long as they have. Actually, Half Price Books does date their pricing, so these have been since pretty much the beginning of the year. But here's those holographic card covers. So I got X-Men 25, the one where we all know that Wolverine loses his adamantium in this issue. So I was surprised this has been sitting there for 6 weeks. And I don't know if it's a thing or not, but this one has like that blue color, like at least on the top half, and then it's green on the bottom. I've noticed like on eBay and stuff, sometimes those blue variants can go for a little bit more, even though this is like half blue, half green. But hey, once again, 15 cents, why not? I have a copy of it already signed by Andy Kubert, so there's a second copy for me. And then I also found X Factor 92, so I got that nice Havoc card on there. I think that's Havoc at least, if I remember correctly. So, Uncanny X-Men 304 was the last one of these I could find, so I think that's Magneto on there. I've already got one of these signed by John Romita Jr., so this is a second pickup for me. So, like I said, I'm very shocked that those sat in those bins at $1 for that long and no one picked them up for $1, let alone 15 cents. So, and then I thought I needed this, but I actually didn't. Doom Patrol 53. The last time they had one of these bag sales, I found an entire run of the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol and picked it up. Then I saw this was left in there after. I haven't had a chance to really read through all of that run yet, so I just assumed, like, well, since this was in there, I must have just missed it the last time they had a sale and they just put it in there for $1. But actually, this is a second copy, so now I have 2 copies. Then there's an Action Comics Weekly 605. It's a Kubert Brothers cover. I didn't even realize they did work on the Action Comics Weekly, so they did a Dead Man cover, so I was interested to flip through this, see what that's like. So I thought that was pretty neat. And in my previous video, I showed that I found the aliases 1 through 15 for 35 bucks. So I decided once I saw these in the Half Price Books bins for 15 cents basically for me, I decided, like, well, why not pick up 3 more? So I got issue 18 to continue my run, as well as 21 and 25. So once again, I got those awesome David Mack covers on there, so I couldn't pass these up. I just wish, I think 24, I think, is the first Purple Man in Alias, so I kind of wish they had that one, but hey, I'll take Purple Part 2 any day. And they also had these nice Mark Brooks Ant-Man covers, so here's the cover to issue 1. I might be trying to get these signed in April at C2E2 because he's supposed to be there. So, and then here's issue 5, which I think I already have in issue 5, but I'm not sure. But it fit in the bag, so I decided to take it. Next up is, once again, more Grant Morrison. Zatanna number 1 from that 7 Soldiers of Victory big mini-series storyline he had going on, and they also had issue 2. But unfortunately, they did not have issues 3 and 4. But cool covers by Ryan Sook nonetheless. So I picked those up. And then I found some Alex Ross Justice Society of America covers I decided to pick up. I think this is one of the nicest covers he's done. So this is the cover for issue 81. So couldn't pass that up. It's got Stargirl on it, so hey, why not? 72, another great Hourman Alex Ross cover there. And then the last one, unfortunately, I think someone beat me. They had the whole run at some point, but I think someone beat me to the rest of them, and they just missed these in the bins probably that day. And then here is Ab Smasher cover for issue 6. So great covers by Alex Ross. Eventually, I might try to get the whole run on that. Next up, I found some nice 80s Justice League Internationals. So here's issue 12. Issue 18, which has got that hilarious Guy Gardner crying at Lobo cover, which I think the next one's like the mirror, like Guy Gardner is getting ready to attack Lobo or something like that. So I always like these covers. Next up, issue 20. And then the last one I found was issue 22. So gotta love some 80s Justice League International action there. All right, we're winding down here. The next one, I really don't collect Punisher, but I always kind of like this cover. Here's the cover to the Punisher 57. It's got that photo cover where he's all bandaged up. So I've always seen this for a few bucks here and there. So I decided to pick that up finally. And then I found Punisher War Journal number 13. This is a early Jim Lee Marvel work. So this is a Jim Lee cover. So I always kind of saw this every time I go flipping through the dollar bins over there. So I kept telling myself that, no, if it's there during that sale, I'd probably just go ahead and pick it up. And so I did. And then here is a Tom King Omega Men run. I just like the cover on that. I don't know if it's a variant cover or anything like that. I just thought it looked neat, so I decided to pick that up. And then here is an Outcast number 1 from Robert Kirkman project. I have the first issue. I think I actually have the first 12 issues of it. But I've never seen one that says coming soon to Cinemax on it. So I don't know if it's a second printing variant or just some sort of special edition. But I decided to pick it up because it is a really good first issue if you guys haven't checked it out. So, and somehow I keep picking up Ms. Marvel number 2s. This time it is the 4th printing. So it fit in the bag, so I figured why not. Love Ms. Marvel. It's a great book. And I picked up some of those Greg Horn covers that were left over in the bins. So, like I said, I'm not sure why these weren't picked up. I figured people will like the covers. They would have just crammed them in the bags. But somehow I got to them first. So there is that cover right there, which I might try to get these signed at the convention season as well, because he's supposed to be going to 2 conventions I've bought tickets to already. There's the next cover right there for issue 21. And there's issue 20. And issue 19. And I could be wrong. I think this is issue 1 of that run. I already have a copy or 2 of this as well. Frank Cho cover. So, like I said, I was surprised that was there. They also had 50-cent bins there, but I usually don't shop the 50-cent bins because they put the sticker right on the book and it drives me crazy. But they had Evangeline Glory. I think this is a number 1. Yeah, it's a number 1. Nice 90s chromium wraparound goodness. So, as soon as this glare of the chromium caught my eye, I had to put it in my bag. So who could pass this up? I know not much about this book, but I thought it looked cool. My only problem now is I got to get that 50-cent sticker off. I've already kind of tried once, so I got to just get patient and try to peel it off even slower now. But it was starting to already catch, but luckily it's a chromium cover, so I think I can get it off there eventually and get all the extra garbage off of that cover. Next up, I actually kind of did find a full run of an Image title. It's called God Hates Astronauts. It's from Ryan Brown, who's local to Indiana like I am as well. I think he lives up in northwest Indiana, and he usually goes to most of the conventions up there. He's a really cool guy. So I had to pick up this God Hates Astronauts run because I used to go to the local comic shops up there, and all those guys would recommend Ryan Brown's work. And I did buy trailers. It's pretty hilarious if you guys haven't seen it. So I think this is actually a variant cover to issue 1. And then I got 2 through 10, so there is number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. And if these covers are in any, sorry, I can't talk anymore. So many books. And if these covers are any indication on how crazy this series is, they have absolutely every indication, because this series is pretty nuts. There's issue 7, issue number 8, issue number 9, and issue 10. I'm not sure how long this series runs for because I haven't read all of them, but I don't think it was more than 10 issues. So I might have had all of them. There might be a couple more. I'm not 100% sure. Next up, I found a couple issues of Hit Girl laying in those bins. So here's issue 2 of Hit Girl. I don't think I've ever actually, I'm just looking on my trade shelf to see if I actually ever got Hit Girl in trade or hardcover. I don't think I ever did. And then there's issue 4, and I think I have an issue 1, so I'm actually kind of close to just completing the series anyway, because I think it ran for 6 issues. And then next up, I can never pass up on a good David Mack cover, so I actually got 2 copies of this. One was in the 50-cent bin, and then one was in the dollar bin, so I mistakenly got 2 because I was just grabbing and going so quick. I probably would have just left this 50-cent one in the 50-cent bin, because now I got to peel that nasty sticker off of there, or I may just leave it because, hey, I have a dollar copy, so this one is obviously much better because now I don't have to peel the sticker off of it. So that is Kabuki the Alchemy issue 2. And then here's issue number 1. So very happy to find those. Like I said, David Mack's work is always great. Finally, my last little pile here. If you guys watched my previous Half Price Books pickup video, I picked up a couple of those Lex Luthor Action Comics that are around the 900, late 800s mark by Paul Cornell. So when I was scouting out for the sale, I actually picked up a couple issues, which one I'll show in a second because I'm getting ready to go on a little bit of a rant. But anyway, I picked up the rest of the run that they had in the store available. So the first one is $8.93, which I'll get into this book here in a second. $8.94 already had up there. I did spend a whole whopping $1 on it, which is well worth $1. $8.95, $8.96, and these are all pretty cool David Finch covers. If you guys are David Finch fans out there, he did pretty much every cover in this Late Action Comics pre-New 52 run. $8.99, and then luckily I bought 900 last week before someone could get their mitts on it for $1. And then here's the annual for Action Comics, number 13. It actually is a nice cover by Ethan Van Sciver, which I'm a pretty good fan of. So, all right. 127 books, $20. Then this, who could beat that? So, thank you for watching this far. So, I guess because you got this far, I'll give a little bit of a bonus rant, as I promised a couple minutes ago. So, I don't remember which live stream I was watching, but they were discussing, like, what is a first appearance and what is a cameo appearance. So, basically, I bought this book last week, Action 894. This is credited as the first appearance of Death from Sandman in the DC Universe. So, this is 894. Great cover. Sells for probably like $10 to $20 on eBay. I've been, as I said last time, I was looking for this book for a while and finally found it. So, very happy to have that. So, I got to, I was asking myself, because I did actually flip through this and read it. I'm like, it seemed like, 893 she would have been in and all that good stuff. I've never really heard or not if she was in it. And maybe I'm just completely out of my mind, not hearing about it. But I was just like, I'm going to flip through 893 and see, maybe it's a cameo appearance or something, because her and Lex Luthor have a conversation in the first page of 894. And, obviously that would indicate that they would have started their conversation at the end of 893. So I was kind of flipping through it, and maybe leave in the comments what you guys think. But I would think 893, based on this last panel, would be a first appearance complete, no questions asked. Because usually a cameo is like, maybe they're off screen or off panel, I should say, and it's just part of their body and they don't say anything. This is the end of 893. Full splash panel, dialogue, full body. How would this not be the first appearance? I have no idea. So maybe just something to think about. But I figured this issue should be the first appearance of Death in the DC Universe instead of this full cover, which is also very nice. So, just something to think about and ponder. But after hearing about that and reading this one a little bit, I'm just like, apparently I have no context for what a first appearance is anymore. So if you guys are still watching for whatever reason, thank you. I can't believe anyone would sit through this whole video, me rambling on for, wow, it just crossed the 25-minute mark. So once again, just thank you so much for the subscriptions, the thumbs up, and please comment below. And other than that, thank you so much, especially if you sat through both videos I've uploaded today. That's awesome. So thank you.